Hey everyone, welcome back to Gearfacts. Today I'm looking at the Zoom R8 multi-track recorder. This is a multi-track with a few interesting surprises, so let's take a closer look. Here's our basic screen showing the metering and the basic details about a recording I made from a M-Audio Venom synthesizer, which sounds like this. I'll just turn the master volume down and we can see that the metering works pretty much as you'd expect it to on any multi-track recorder. As always, with Zoom multi-track recorders, it uses a series of marked points to provide editing and general references for the various points in your song. You can see that the timer here is going in a loop, as indicated by the symbol at the top here. So what I've done is set up a loop between the start and the first marked point. And that's a very handy thing if you want to test out some effects, which is exactly what I'll get into now. So when we switch the effects section on, a whole bunch of other options come up. The first one is algorithm, and what that actually means is a category. So we're in the category for bass effects right now. You can switch over to microphone, optimized for vocals obviously, dual microphone, mastering effects to spice up your entire mix, and of course more subtle ones like clean and distortion effects, which are intended for guitar. We're back to the beginning there. So going to the mastering section, I'm going to add a little bit of color to that track I played a little bit of just before. Within the mastering section we've got several patches, and when you select one, the words scroll across with a little bit of description about exactly what that patch is going to try to convey. So let's hear what that's sounding like. And we'll try different mastering algorithms. So that clarify effect sounds pretty good to me. Let's do a comparison between having no mastering effect and the clarifier on. So I'll stop the playback right there, and you can hear, even though with no mastering effect on, the recording sounds pretty good, but clarify does add a little bit of tightness and a little bit of definition to the overall mix there. So that's a very simplified example of what we can do with effects on the Zoom R8. If it's not quite the way you want it, of course we can edit, and of course in the mastering section you'll get a whole lot of equalization, compression, normalizing here, all the handy tools that you need. So for mastering, the R8 has it pretty well covered. Guitar effects though, slightly different story. Now if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I really like Zoom effects. I think the distortions are bright and the modulation sections are very interesting. Delays and reverbs are nice and smooth. On the R8 though, everything seems to be quite pared back. If I just go into edit here, you just get a pretty basic set of effects. One kind of compressor. You can put your wah effects and a few other extra effects before or after the drive component of your effects chain. That does give you a lot of options for your sound as far as the texture and overall feel of it goes. And we have a few other good effects there, phases and ring modulators. And once again, they can be put in two different locations within the effects chain. And then we're onto the preamp. So you've got BG drive, crunch, PV, simulations, just all the sort of the staple foods as far as distortion goes. Nothing terribly imaginative, and I have to say the warmth and color that you'll get in a dedicated multi-effects unit is not really there with the R8. It's pretty limp, so I'd probably, in practice, not even utilize this preamp section. I'd be inclined to just leave that off and rely more on my effects pedals to get the drive kind of sound I want. Moving on, there's a perfectly good 6-band EQ, nice and simple to use. Then onto modulation and delay. Again, this category of effects is covered quite nicely, but it's not really mind-blowing, and there's nothing much in there that'll really put a smile on your face like the dedicated multi-effect systems will from Zoom. I will say though, AR arm pitch can be a really fun effect to use. It slides your pitch up or down, or raises and lowers it over a whole series of 16 different types or patterns that the pitch can run through. And through those 16 different patterns, the wave can take on various different forms like a smooth triangle, sine wave, or a really blocky square wave. So that can give you quite a technological kind of feel from an analog instrument. And it can be synchronized with your tempo as well, which is really good if you've already laid down a rhythm and you want your guitar to change pitch wildly exactly to the tempo. So AR arm pitch, that's pretty good, and it has appeared on a few other multi-track recording systems by Zoom, and as far as I know, Zoom is the only one that provides it. Reverb section, again, the reverbs are okay, but they're a little bit too crisp for my liking, and they don't really have a professional feel to them. Noise reduction is tucked away right at the very end too. Sometimes you want to put noise reduction in different parts of your effect chain, but here it's only going to be at the end, which is okay, but again, I don't think it's ideal. So for guitar players, I don't think buying the R8 will herald the day that you're going to sell your entire collection of pedals. So let's take a look now at the rhythm section. This recorder gives us all the drum programming functionality of many dedicated rhythm machines. So you can see we've got our grid there. We can scroll right down to, we've got about 16 tracks of drum information there. Let's play through this rhythm. And it works pretty much like any drum sequencer. You just pick a point on your grid here and position whatever drum sound you want in that place. You can also choose several kits as well. Just select the kit button here. We'll zoom in a little bit. So that's how drum programming works and what the individual drum kits sound like. With a bit of work, you can also program your own samples into the same kind of grid arrangement as well. So if you've sampled together a drum kit that you really like, you can operate it in exactly the same way. And that's the way recording generally works on the R8, by piecing together little bits of your song and sequencing them together as you would on a sampler. For me, and this is purely personal opinion, I find that a little bit unwieldy. I would rather just record a whole lot of tracks and just be able to cut and paste things wherever I like. And the R8 doesn't offer those conventional editing features like a multi-track recorder in the way we've come to understand it would. Having said that though, this methodology could be great for a whole lot of people. It does work excellently with DAW systems, and if you buy this recorder new, then you'll find in the box that Zoom provides really good software, and I'm certain that the end result would be very, very good. I just didn't feel 100% comfortable using the R8. So many great things about this recorder. And if it just had those traditional editing features and an effect system that was a little bit better, I think I would be extremely excited about this one. But as it is, it's a tool that definitely needs to work with a computer to get the most out of it. And if that's the way you roll, then I think you'll get a lot of sonic goodness out of the R8. The recording quality is sensational. The microphones on board, tucked away on either side, really do work well. They pick up a beautiful recording, and anything you record through the various lines in is showing up with a really nice high definition 44.1 kilohertz sound. So like I said, all the ingredients are in there, and just because I wasn't completely sold, it doesn't mean it's not the right recorder for you. That's the Zoom R8 from Zoom. Please feel free to leave a comment, or hit that like button, or even subscribe to Gearfacts, and I look forward to seeing you next time.